Hi. This instructional video is about solving equations using either addition property of equality or subtraction property of equality, depending on the circumstances. So, here's a situation. Whoa. Decimal number. Here's how I would do it. To solve for what number this should be, 17 plus something will equal 20. To find that something, you want to move that constant, 17.3, away from the x. Some teachers even use the phrase, throw that number over the fence. Here's a word that I invented. OPPOSITIZE this number. This was 17.3. You're going to make it up. This was 17.3. The opposite of 17.3 is negative 17.3. And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you do it to the other. So on the left side of the equation, 17.3, negative 17.3, they're additive inverse, so they become 0. All that left is x on the left. Now be careful. You have $20 in the bank. You take out $17.30. So let's put a decimal and a 0 here. 0 minus 3, no can do. So from the 20, you're going to borrow one whole, so this becomes 19. So the 0 now becomes 10, because 10 plus 0. So 10 minus 3 is now 7. 9 minus 7 is 2. 1 minus 1 is a 0. So the answer becomes x is equal to 2.7. The direction said to justify your step, so I'm going to say, since I subtracted it, this is called subtraction property of equality. Now, how do I check my answer? You just simply substitute the x here with that solution 2.7. Here's what it looks like. 17.3 plus 2.7. Does that equal the original 20? And it's hard for me to see this in a horizontal format, so let me do that vertically. 17.3 plus 2.7. Let's see. 3 plus 7 is 10, so the last number comes down. 1 gets carried over. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 2 is 10, so the last number goes down. 1 gets carried over. 1 plus 1 is 2. Ta-da! So it does work. So yes, I give myself a happy face. Why don't you do numbers 2 and 3? Go ahead, use the happy face. All right, to solve this one, you're going to move the number away from the x. Just like some teachers will say, take this number and throw it over the fence. But first you have to oppositize it. Make minus 18 opposite, so that becomes plus 18. So you're going to add 18 to both sides of the equation. And since I'm adding, the property that you want to use is addition property of equality. Addition property of equality. So on the right side, negative 18 or minus 18 and 18 is additive inverse. They become 0. So x comes down. On the left side, 212 plus 18, I could do this. 2 plus 8 is 10. The last number comes down. 1 gets carried over. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. And 2. There's my answer. I justified it. How do I check to see if this is correct? I take that x, which is 230, substitute it back into the original equation. So 212 is equal to 230 minus 18. It's hard for me to see this horizontally, so I'm going to write it as 230 minus 18. 0 minus 8? No can do. So I'm going to borrow a whole from a 3, so that becomes 2. And since I borrowed a whole tens place, 10 plus 0 is 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 minus nothing is 2. So it's 212. There it is. So it checks out my happy face. Let me get the door. I'll be right back. And finally, number 3. Okay, I'm back. So, to solve for this one, you're going to do the opposite of plus 16.8 to move it away from the x. To do that, you have to take the opposite of the plus 16.8, which is minus 16.8. And whatever you do to the left side, you have to do to the right side, negative 16.8 or minus 16.8. And since I'm subtracting it, this is referred to as subtraction property of equality. On the left side, the 16.8, negative 16.8, they're additive inverse. They're opposite of each other, so they become 0. So x is the only thing that remains on the left side. And that equals, well, let's be careful here, $42 minus 16.8. Let's put a 0 here. 0 minus 8? No, no, no. So let's make 2 into a 1 and put a 10 there plus 0, which is just 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 1 minus 6? No can do. So borrow a whole from a 4, so that becomes 3. And since we borrowed the 10s, 10 plus 1 is now 11. 11 minus 6 is 5. And 3 minus 1 is 2. And right there was a decimal, 25.2. That's my answer. And I justified it. Subtraction property of equality. How do I check to see if this is correct? We're going to substitute it back into the x. So we're going to say 25.2 plus 16.8. Does that equal the original 42? Since I cannot really tell horizontally, let me put that vertically. 25.2 plus 16.8. This is the way I'm going to show my work for my teacher if they ask me to check my solution. I'm checking to see if I go back to the original solution. So here, 2 plus 8 is 10. The second number comes down, the first number goes up. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 6 is 12. Second number goes down, first number goes up. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 42, there's the original 42, kind of. So this is also correct. There it is. All right, go get some of those, okay? Good luck.